Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 50th Annual AAKP National Patient Meeting. My name is Clinical Clynes, Executive Director of AAKP. I'd like to thank everyone in the room and online for being part of this milestone as we celebrate the golden anniversary of our National Patient Meeting, 50 proud years of patient education, 50 years of saving lives, 50 years of saving livelihoods. This year's event reflects both the extraordinary progress we've made and the enduring mission that guides us. For 5 decades, AAKP has been committed to empowering patients, supporting innovation, and driving policy change in kidney care. This meeting is not only a celebration of our past, but also a look forward to the future we continue to build together. Today's session, Putting Patients First, Shared decision-making in clinical practice, is a topic I'm personally very passionate about, and I'd like to take a few moments to speak to before I introduce our panel. For the last couple decades, AAKP has defined shared decision-making much differently than other medical and kidney stakeholders in America and across the globe. We firmly believe that patients are intelligent consumers of healthcare and fully capable of making the most appropriate healthcare decisions for their situations when they are fully informed of their choices. At AAKP, we believe kidney patients share the same aspirations as anyone: to work, pursue an education, raise and support a family, own a home, and retire securely. Patients rightly expect their doctors to listen carefully and respect their wishes. So you may ask, what is true patient-centered shared decision-making, and why is it important? It means you care for the whole person, not just the condition. It promotes early screening for identification and accurate diagnosis. It emphasizes the importance of education on how to slow or prevent disease progression. It supports educating the patient and any care partner on all available treatment options without any preconceived notion. And it avoids making any patient or their family feel that their or their condition is burdensome to the family unit or society, or steer them in a particular treatment or no treatment based on their age or comorbidities. Most importantly, AAKP believes that patient-centered decision-making must include aspects that matter most to patients and their families when treatments are discussed, and these are the areas that are often left out of existing shared decision-making discussions and tools, and include cultural and spiritual beliefs, personal aspirations, and the patient's role within their family. This is why AAKP set out to develop our own shared decision-making guide that encompasses all of AAKP's principles, takes into consideration all the elements that holistically make a person who they are, and influences how and why they make treatment decisions. And it eliminates the pessimistic narrative away from labeling kidney patients as unwise, burdensome, or too costly. And with that, I'd like to introduce our outstanding panelists who will dive deeper into discussions. First, we have Chris Kelly. Chris has spent 26 years designing and delivering health and medical education across advocacy groups, professional associations, pharma, hospital, home care, and senior living. With a master's degree in adult education and a bachelor's in psychology, Chris brings deep expertise in health literacy, adult learning, and patient engagement, all with a strong commitment to shared decision-making. Joining him, we will have Dr. Janice Lee. Dr. Lee is a professor of medicine at Emory University and board certified in nephrology and hypertension. She serves as Clinical Director of Nephrology, Chief Medical Director of Emory Dialysis, and Medical Director for Home Dialysis. A nationally recognized expert in hypertension and health disparities, Dr. Lee has been named one of Atlanta's top doctors for 10 consecutive years and has helped advance patient-centered care through research, clinical leadership, and innovation in telenephrology. She also serves on the Nephrology Specialty Committee of the American Board of Internal Medicine and as a director at large on AAKP's National Board of Directors. To kick us off, please welcome Chris Kelly and turn your attention to the screen.
Thanks so much, Diana. It's amazing to be here and a true honor to be supporting this project and also presenting on this topic. Next slide. So we had two core project objectives when we first started the project. One was to collaborate with kidney disease patients, to develop the most impactful evidence-based consumer choice shared decision-making tool. And then the second was that this tool would support the most informed, effective, and holistic treatment discussions and decisions between patients, caregivers, and their healthcare providers. So coming soon by end of year will be the AAKP Consumer Choice Shared Decision-Making Tool. Very exciting because it differentiates in 5 core areas. Number one, it's aspirational, capturing psychosocial hope streams and goals. Second, it's real world, which it means developed with patients for patients. Third, it's accessible, grounded in best practice design guidelines. It's unique, grounded in a robust landscape analysis, which I'll share in a minute. And lastly, but most importantly, it also has global reach. What do we mean by real world developed with patients for patients? So I was really fortunate to co-moderate 4 patient focus groups with over 9 patient ambassadors from AAKP who provided amazing insights, passion, really served as a great guide for us in terms of content and tools. We also had a quantitative survey. So, all the content tools that I'm about to share were informed by patients who were living with kidney disease every day. When we say accessible, we're talking about the robust landscape analysis that went into developing this tool. As Diana mentioned, I've been developing these tools for years, and usually the clients will ask me to do a quick scan to inform the tool. Not in this case. Paul, Diana, and the team really wanted to attack the insights. We looked through at least 15 or 20 articles from AAKP, 20 peer-reviewed journal articles that were featuring shared decision-making tool best practices, international guidelines and standards for decision-making tools, such as those from IPDAS, motivational interview guidelines, 5 to 10 kidney disease best practice shared decision-making tools to see, what is out there in the field. And then also best practices for applying the World Health Organization patient platform for shared decision-making. The fact that global reach was one of our goals is really important. The World Health Organization patient platform said a global shared decision-making tool must support and activate universal decision-making, people power, and intention to action. So from a translation perspective, health literacy perspective, and advocacy perspective, this tool is for everyone. So what I'd love to do now is share some screenshots of the brochure that the guide that will be out later this year. Not surprisingly, our cover features people, people living their lives, enjoying work, hobbies, and family. On the right-hand side, you can see a very comprehensive table of contents, very action-oriented, and also the Always Remember feature, which highlights key points throughout the guide. I always like to say tools over text, right? So it's very common in shared decision-making tools to have a lot of text for people to read. Our goal was to create tools that help a patient and their care team to not only talk, but also organize their thoughts. So this particular tool is helping patients and their care team to think about aspirations, hopes, and dreams, not just medicine or a device or a test. Like, what does this mean in terms of your hopes, your dreams, short and long-term goals, maintaining things like your career, hobbies, interests, and also maintaining family roles. So this would be completed in the office between the patient and the care team and caregivers. We're also including an entire spread dedicated to working well with the healthcare team. So on the left-hand side, a very digestible capture of different treatment options. You'll notice check boxes that allow a physician, a care team to check the treatment option that is most priority. And then on the right-hand side is really an organizing tool that helps the patient, caregiver, and HCP to be prepared, to become their own expert and ask for the information that they need. And also to keep a journal before, during, and after office visits to make sure that they're sharing, the latest status and insights for their care team. We have a dedicated section called Weighing Your Options, where you can see in the middle graphic a care team member could write the option that we're discussing. There's an open space for a patient to write down the questions that they have. There is a list sections for patient and care team to list the benefits and risks, the pros and cons. a little decision tool to check the box, and then also a section. You'll see sections throughout with notes so that people can capture points from the discussion. And then on the right-hand side, Diana mentioned just all these different domains of decisions. And we wanted to provide a tool that would allow a patient and care team to talk through those domains. Again, work, life, roles, hobbies, interests, travel. So this would be, again, a tool that a patient, physician, and care team could ensure that shared decision-making is informed by a patient's goals and interests. And then lastly, but most importantly to me, what an amazing organization. We have a dedicated page, which isn't enough, to the amazing work that AAKP does. And then on the right-hand side, a very action-oriented guide to, we don't just say get involved. We give a checklist, we give an action plan, and then we give links where patients can find out how they can best get involved based on their needs and their aspirations. So again, very excited to help to announce the launch of the AAKP Consumer Choice Shared Decision Making Tool. It'll be available by end of year, and it's been an honor to work with Paul, Diana, Jerome, and the AAKP team, and an honor to be with all of you today. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Chris, for providing a great overview of AAKP's new tool. It's been absolutely wonderful working with Chris as well, and he truly has been able to bring to life a patient-centered and unique shared decision guide that AAKP had in mind to support kidney patients and having these important conversations with their physicians. And what you saw is a representation of the print guide. Once that rolls out, we will be launching a digital guide as well. And our intent for this tool is for it to be evergreen, because everybody knows that their life changes and situations change, and patients have the right to choose and change their treatment options. So this guide was built in a manner that can be revisited again and when the need arises. So with that, I'd like to move over to our physician on our panel, Dr. Janice Lee. Dr. Lee is a true patient advocate, and I know the foundation of which AAKP's Shared Decision Making Guide was developed resonates with you. So to bring you into this discussion, I have some questions that I'd like to pose. Firstly, Dr. Lee, beyond my introduction of you, would you briefly introduce your clinical role and share your approach to shared decision-making in kidney care, and what principles guide your conversations with patients and families?
Okay, thanks, Diana. Good morning, everyone. It is such an honor and pleasure to be here. I have been practicing nephrology for now 30 years, actually. I hope I don't look like I've been around that long, but I have. And I am at Emory University. I'm actually now the division chief of our nephrology department. And we have our own outpatient dialysis centers, and we serve about 600 patients, and about 15%, 12% are on home therapy. So we're big proponents of home therapies. I'm primarily a clinician. I love taking care of patients. That's why I'm part of the AAKP. I'm on the board. It's the best thing I've done in my career is to be involved with this organization. I like really just talking to patients, getting to know them, knowing their family situation, knowing what their lifestyle is like, what their goals are. And those are the things that I really take into account when I'm talking about, what their options are for treatment, whether or not they're a good home dialysis candidate, should they do PD versus home hemo, and getting them referred for a transplant. I think it's so important to start early, before it's time to start dialysis, so that they have time to really make an informed decision. I'm so excited about this new tool that AAKP has. There's been other tools that others have used, and there's pros and cons with all of them, but I think this one is really, going to be very life-changing for our patients. So what I do is I talk to them, about what I think their trajectory is as far as their kidney disease progression, when they might need to start on dialysis or get referred for a transplant. And I'm excited about some of the AI tools. I think that that's a positive thing, but I want to emphasize the compassionate care part of that. I really like that statement from the earlier speaker, that that can't replace personal relationships with patients. And they have to be able to trust you, their provider, and know that you have their best interest at heart. And so I think a lot of that is just getting to spend time with the patient, discussing their personal issues. When my patients come to see me, the first thing they ask me is, how is my son? Or, how is something else that they know about in my life? And then I ask them about their family. And so I think those are very crucial pieces to having this shared decision-making.
And from your perspective, why is it critically important for care teams to incorporate all aspects of a patient's life, employment or education goals, family responsibilities, travel, and hobbies into treatment planning?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you don't really know what your patient is, what their day-to-day activities are, I don't think you can make the optimal choice together to decide what's best for them. So I have patients who are in college, who work, who have grandchildren that they want to go and watch them play soccer or what have you. And so I think it's important to be flexible with the treatment options. I'm still surprised. I get patients all the time that only knew about in-center dialysis. No one really took time to talk to them about home dialysis. And then even once they start dialysis, to be flexible with the schedule. Like, every patient doesn't have to do, if they do in-center, they may not have to start 3 days a week. If they're doing home hemo, they might not have to do 5 or 6 days a week. Even peritoneal dialysis, if they still have residual function, they might not need to do it 7 days a week. And so just working with the patient, I usually just say, what would you like to do? What is your schedule? What's the best time for you to do dialysis, for example? And then I work around that. As you all know who have done peritoneal dialysis, you can do that at night. You can be free during the day. You can do home hemo at night. Be free during the day. And then in-center-wise, my clinic, we have nocturnal dialysis in-center. And so for patients who just can't do it at home or don't have the support, just not as motivated enough to do it at home, that's an option for them to be able to work during the day. They come to the center at night. So I think it's just so important to be flexible with the schedules of your patients.
Wonderful. And as you know, a major catalyst for AAKP developing our patient-centered decision-making guide is because we believe that all patients should be treated equally with respect and understanding that when fully informed of their care options, patients and doctors they trust can make wise decisions about treatment options. Can you tell us why shared decision-making should always be patient-focused and free of any medical bias toward a patient's perceived socioeconomic status, ethnicity, or other factors, including age?
Yeah, that's a very key issue. I think a lot of providers will look at the patient and what their resources are and say, I don't think they can do home. I mean, I see that all the time. That, I work in a training environment at an academic institution, so I have fellows and residents and medical students. And that's one of the things that I focus on, is that they can't look at the patient and say, oh, they can't do this. You haven't really delved into what they can do. Just because, and one thing that there's patients who come in the hospital who may miss dialysis, for example, and they're deemed non-compliant. I know many of you've heard that term. And so my question is why are they non-compliant? Is it because the schedule is not good for them? They need to go to work. I mean, I have a patient who drives trucks and he has to leave the center by 9 o'clock. So sometimes he signs off early. So I switched him to a different schedule at night, the nocturnal shift, so he could be free during the day to do what he did. And he's been compliant. His labs are great. So you have to really know what the patient, what is motivating them, why are they not adhering to the treatment that you prescribed, and maybe you need to make a change in what you prescribed so that they can be more compliant with it.
And an important factor that AAKP found missing from shared decision-making guides that currently exist, which Chris articulated in his presentation, is spiritual and cultural beliefs. How do you elicit and honor patients' spiritual and cultural beliefs during option discussions?
Yeah, that's a big one too. Certainly, I am a person of faith as well. I share that with my patients, and I think that's the important thing. We have to respect anyone's decision about what their preferences are. But I think we can still work with that and come to a happy medium, and just talk about ways that we can still honor their wishes, but still provide the life-sustaining treatment that they need.
And final question, Dr. Lee. From a clinician's standpoint, what would you advise patients to do if they feel their needs aren't respected or they're not experiencing true shared decision-making in their care plan? When is transitioning to a different team appropriate, and how can that be done safely and constructively?
So I get patients all the time who are coming to me for a second opinion because they were not happy with their first provider. And I say that's the patient's choice. If you're not happy and you're not getting what you need, you should seek care elsewhere. This has even happened within my own group, my own partners. And we help to facilitate. I mean, we're not in the business of being negative about other doctors, nothing like that, or other healthcare systems. But we want to make sure that the patient is happy and that they're in a situation that they feel they can thrive and succeed. And if they're not getting what they need at other providers or healthcare systems, it's their choice. And I approve, they'll say, Dr. Lee, a patient wants to change to you from the other physician. So I go and talk to that physician and just, politely say, this patient has requested to transfer. And if you do that, there's no hard feelings, that you're being upfront and transparent about the process. And I've had patients who maybe didn't resonate with me as well, or we just didn't hit it off, and they wanted to go elsewhere, and I allowed that to happen. So every patient is different, and they may need a different approach. So that's my answer to that.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Lee. We appreciate your support on this effort as we work to redefine the meaning of true patient-centered shared decision-making.